Hi, my name is Liz and this is my YouTube channel. I look very different than my video because I deleted the original editing last night. So I'm re-recording. I'm starting this project to bring attention to the amazing and talented artists who have tremendously accomplished amazing things and do not get as much attention as they should get. So I will start with the colored artists first because let's face it, they don't get covered. So today we will talk about the Queen of Soul herself, who deserves RESPECT, Aretha Louise Franklin. So let's get into it, and in the next clip I will look a little different. Hope you enjoy. Miss Franklin was born in Memphis, Tennessee on March 25th, 1942. She was born to Barbara and C.L. Franklin. Her mother and her father were both gospel singers, and her father was a well-renowned pastor of a Baptist church, Bethel Baptist Church, where he was known for his brilliant sermons. Her parents separated when she was 6 years old. Aretha remained with her father in Detroit. Her mother died 4 years later. That means that she was 10 years old. That's kind of a young age to lose your mother. But as a young teenager, Franklin performed with her father on his gospel programs in major cities throughout the country and was recognized as a vocal prodigy. Her central influences was Clara Ward, Albertina Walker, and Jackie Verdell, who helped shape her style. The gospel sound of Aretha Franklin, captured in 1956, was the spark of her performance as a young teen. Aretha became a mother 2 years before her first album came out. She was 12 years old. She named her first son Clarence after her father. She never really revealed the identity of who the father was. At 15 years old, she had her second child, Edward. She named him Edward after his father, Edward Jordan. Clarence and Edward were raised by her grandmother and her sister while she pursued her musical career. In 1960, she got signed to Columbia Records after she coaxed her dad into letting her record secular music. Secular music is what we call music, but because they're Christian and they grow up Baptist, the worldly music isn't called music. It's called secular music because it's of the world. It's not of God. Her pop single, Today I Sung the Blues, was released in the same year. It reached Rhythm and Blues Sellers chart. It remains a classic to this day. But as her Detroit friends enjoyed hit after hit, she struggled to achieve crossover success. Columbia Records placed her with a variety of producers who marketed her to both adults and teens without targeting any genre. She sang everything from Broadway ballads to youth-oriented rhythm and blues. When she switched to Atlantic Records, where Jerry Wexler allowed her to sculpt her own musical identity. In 1961, she married Ted White despite objections from her father. Ted was older than her when he was born in 1931. So he was born in 1931 and she was born in 1942. So I'm thinking like a 10, 11 year gap. 11-year gap. So if he was 30, she was 19. Oh, I could see why her dad wouldn't be too happy about that. In 1964, Aretha gave birth to her third son, Ted White. He's a famous musician now too. His name is Teddy Richards, and he's a famous musician now. She divorced Teddy White in 1969. In 1968, she gave birth to her fourth child, Keekalf. It's Kecalf. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I apologize if I'm not saying it right. His father, Hen Cunningham, who was her former manager. At Atlantic Records, Aretha returned to her roots. her gospel and blues roots, and the results were sensational. I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You was recorded in Alabama, which was her first million seller. Surrounded by sympathetic musicians playing impromptu arrangements and devised the background vocals herself, Franklin refined a style associated with Ray Charles, a rousing mixture of gospel and rhythm and blues, and raised it to new heights. Franklin was crowned the Queen of Soul. Respect. Her 1967 cover and rearrangement of Otis Redding's spirited composition became her biggest hit and her signature song, which is why I opened with R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Both songs are significantly different, but her interpretation became a feminist anthem for the second wave feminism movement in the 1970s. Think that came out in 1968, which she wrote herself, is about freedom and respect for women, but can also be read on another level like respect for human beings in general. It was released less than 1 month after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. He was a friend of the family and she was very close to him. The song's unceasing refrain of freedom memorialized one of Dr. King's famous quote, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. For the next half dozen years, she became a hit maker of unheard heights, which landed her the nickname Lady Soul. In the early 1970s, she triumphed at Fillmore West in San Francisco before an audience of flower children and on short tours of Europe and Latin America. Amazing Grace, 1972, a live recording of her performance with a choir at New Temple Missionary Baptist Church in Los Angeles, is considered one of the greatest gospel albums of any era. During those same years, she gave out hits like Angel, who was written by Franklin's sister Carolyn Franklin. Until You Come Back Home was also written by none other than Stevie Wonder, Clarence Paul, and Morris Broadnax. The song being originally by Stevie Wonder in 1967, which his version of the song was not released as a single, and it did not appear on any album until 1977's anthology Looking Back. The best known version is the 1973 release by the Queen of Soul, who had a million-selling top 10 hit on the Billboard charts. The song reached number 1 on the R&B charts and number 3 on the 100 chart in 1974. It became a RIAA gold record. With this peak at number 3, Franklin became the first artist in the history of the Hot 100 chart to have hit a song peak at each position from 1 to 10 on the chart. Let us bask in the greatness of this woman. This woman who had 4 children, started having kids at 12. She was a vocal prodigy. She came out with a record in 1956. Just hit after hit after hit. A mother of 4 who has accomplished so much, and not to bring up race, but this was prominent back then. I am not saying that she didn't struggle. I am 100% sure she struggled to get where she got in life, especially the time that she was doing it, which is why her success should be celebrated. By the late 1970s, disco had come in and cramped Aretha's style and destroyed her popularity. But once a queen, always a queen. With a little help from the singer-songwriter-producer Luther Vandross, she was back on top with the new label Arista. And 2 new dance hits, Jump to It, Jump to It, Jump to It, and Freeway of Love. In 1987, she became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She also received a Kennedy Center honor in 1994, a National Medal of Arts in 1999, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2005. I was 15 when she got that. Dang. In 2009, she electrified a crowd of more than 1 million with her performance of My Country 'Tis of Thee. I remember that. At the presidential inauguration of our 44th president, Barack Obama. I voted for him. And stole the show again when she performed at the Kennedy Center Honors for Carole King's You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Nobody can sing that song like her. Nobody can sing that song like her. The documentary Amazing Grace, which documents her recording of the 1972 album, premiered in 2018. She was the voice for Black women fighting for equality and liberation. She won 18 Grammy Awards. She received them between 1968 and 2008. She also won 3 AMA Awards in the category of Favorite Soul R&B Female Artist between the years of 1976 to 1983. Aretha Louise Franklin, the Queen of Soul, died on August 16th, 2018. She died on Elvis's death anniversary. She died of pancreatic cancer. She exudes a raw God-given talent that I could not match. There is only one. You know, she also labeled a diva, but honestly, I believe people who they label as divas just demand the respect that they deserve. There is nothing wrong with knowing that you are good when you are that good. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. You guys enjoyed Monday. I will see you next week. And next week we will be talking about Sam Cooke. Yeah, Sam Cooke. All right. Have a good day. Bye.